I have made it up onto Gabby. Behave. Don't just think you have to walk, trot, canter and finish. So I'm just going to give her a bit of a stretchy trot now. I'm not gripped all the time, I'm not at 100% ever. This is better. Good girl. I feel the hind legs are crossing a little bit better because we're keeping the momentum this time, we're not doing any silly walks. And if you have got horses that fall in a lot or kind of put quarters in, especially in canter, obviously this is quite useful. More left bend, that's a little bit better. Forward. Good girl. This is leg yield, not shoulder in. That is Spanish walk, which I don't want. No, Gabby. I am just going to work with Gabby today, just in walk and trot. It's alright, it's alright. And just worked on her strength work. I noticed when I schooled her last week that, well, she felt good, but on watching the video back, she's obviously lost a lot of muscle through just doing the hacking work. Like, she's fit, but she's not necessarily strong. And there obviously is a difference. And although, again, she's not terribly stiff, she has lost a bit of suppleness, a bit of flexibility, and that has in turn affected some of her balance. So, and obviously then her self-carriage. So all those things kind of roll into one. You know, they all help each other. So yeah, today it's going to be, I mean, depends how you look at it. I don't think this stuff is boring, but I know some people find the walk work a bit bland. But that's probably because all you're doing is walking on a reasonable long rein, or maybe you're not, but you know, you're just walking around like I am now, kind of like you would in your warm-up and your cool down. But there's so much that you can do in the walk to help trot and even the canter. She feels a lot better in the walk already, but I know sometimes what she feels like and what she looks like can be two very different things. Yeah, I'm just going to start adding in, hello, thank you, some little leg yields, nothing too major, just to start getting her, well, listen to her leg yield more because she was asleep. There isn't really any collection benefits to leg yield. You're not really collecting the horse, but I think it's really useful to do because you know, especially if you're teaching them for the first time, it gets them to understand what moving away from the leg means. And if you have got stiff horses, especially ones that are stiff on the hind legs, which is quite common, horses that fall in a lot or kind of put the quarters in, especially in canter, obviously this is quite useful. Like here, she's against my leg quite a bit at the moment, just where she's just developed this bit of stiffness. Oh, and her party trick at the moment is whenever I collect the walk a little bit too much, she decides it's Spanish walk time, so you have that to look forward to as well. So sometimes our lateral work turns into leg yield with a bit of Spanish, like now. No, Gabby, walk on. I know. She says I don't get it. It's only the short stick, that's better, good girl. So I'll just have a quick swing round on the other rein. Good girl. So you'll notice that I do a lot of walk to warm-up, and that's not unusual for me, whether it's a young horse, an old horse, an experienced horse, whatever. Basically, I do tend to do loads in walk, and the same for my lessons. You know, those that have lessons with me know that we might have a little trot, depending on the horse, you know, now, and then we'll come back and we'll carry on with the lateral work, and we kind of intersperse it between all our other stuff because it helps. And especially if we are having an issue, like she's not actually really bending properly here at the moment, that's better. You know, like if we have an issue, say we're having an issue with canter, we might come back and do a bit of shoulder in because it'll help. For example, see, I'm not doing any canter work today, but yeah, don't just think you have to walk, trot, canter and finish, which is what I know I used to do before I knew better, and knew more things to make it a bit more interesting. But yeah, I do like to do just a couple of leg yields. I mean, I've actually lost count of what I've done on the other rein, but generally I try and do like a rule of 3. I'll do 3 of something on each rein, whether they're good or bad, and then I'll do something else. I can always come back to it later. Straighten up. Good girl. Yeah, can always come back to it later and do it again if it wasn't very good. So there, I obviously got one more to do this way, so hopefully she'll do it again. So Gabby kind of is a bit more flexible on this left rein, or she feels like she is, but actually it's the camera. But actually what she tends to do is overbend and then go out through her shoulder. So this way I've got to keep my outside rein against the neck a little bit, kind of trap that shoulder in, and try and keep her a bit straighter. So you can see I'm just giving a little couple of half halts, but she's still, I'm not sure how much of her neck you can actually see, but she's still kind of tilting. So that's something, I'm going to do one more actually. I know I said rule of 3, but I am going to do one more. Something to keep an eye on with not just the lateral work, but all stuff, is what their ears are doing. And I don't mean in the sense of, are they ears forward, are they back? I mean, are they level? So Gabby has a tendency this way especially to kind of drop her left ear and twist, and it can feel like she's giving you the right bend, but actually she's not. I'm going to go forward a little bit. I'm going to lift my outside rein slightly because I want to bring her nose kind of back into the middle. You can see she's dropping again, and it's just weakness. Like, it will get better, I'm not worried about it. Good girl, those last couple of steps were better. So you might have to sacrifice the bend for kind of, it's not straightness but for levelness, or you might have to sacrifice the amount of kind of sideways motion you get to keep them straight. And then once they're straighter, more level, you can hello camera, this way, thank you. Stupid thing. So I can't remember what I was saying, but I'm going to give her a little trot now anyway, and then we'll come back to the natural work. She's getting a little bit stuffy. So this is purely to get her off the leg a little bit more. She's going to be a bit pokey nose. I'm not really worried about kind of how she looks over. Don't get in the way. I mean, I'm trying to keep her jaw soft because that is where the self-carriage comes from. Come on, camera. I'm just going to work up in this corner for the minute, only because the camera's having a epi fit. It's quite cloudy today, and my camera works on GPS, and so basically it's having a bit of a meltdown. So yeah, I'm not going to get too close to it, because when it gets close it gets really upset. So we will work in a slightly smaller arena for now. Bit of trot, I'm just looking to free her up a little bit, see what's going on. I can feel she's a little bit stuffy, I can feel she's a little bit tight through her jaw, through her neck. We've not quite got the suppleness that we normally would have, but she's offering some nice bits at the same time. So, I'm not overly worried, really. As I said, this is only, her second or third schooling session in quite a long time, to be honest. So she's done lots of packing, so she's fit, but this sort of work is, it's not new to her by any means, but it's been a while. So you'll probably see as I'm wandering around, I try to keep the majority of the weight of the rein through my thumb and my first finger, and then I just close the finger for half halts or little softens, or halts, as and when. So when she's feeling a bit tight on this right rein, you'll see I'm just little vibrations. I'm not hanging, I'm not pulling. The hands themselves don't move. There's no this business, and I'm not moving the bit a huge amount in her mouth, so I'm not seesawing on her. And the same this first, I'm going to show you on the left. So obviously she bends better this way anyway, so I've actually still got to keep the right hand there for her. But yeah, I'm not gripped all the time, I'm not at 100% ever, really. Well, I suppose if she bolted off, then maybe that'd be 100%. But for the most part, I want her to carry herself. I don't want to be holding her. She's got to do it herself. I can remind her with the little vibrations, little half halts, that she needs to soften and kind of get back on track a little bit. And depending on the horse, you might find that you do that more often than not. Others you might just be able to completely leave alone, and that's okay as well. I never want to be like this, and I never want to have like no pressure here. I always want to have it between my thumb and my first finger, basically. So now I've cleared that up, let's get back to the lateral works. I'm going to do a leg yield along the fence, Now, obviously these aren't going to be perfect. Said she's a bit rusty. I'm a bit bloody rusty as well, to be honest. But what I'm looking for here is actually very little bend through the neck and through the body, and kind of a 45-degree angle almost to the fence. But this is where I wanted my other camera set up, so I have one on the side. Let's do one this way. So I'm bringing the right leg behind the girth because I'm actually pushing the quarters over in this instance. So, you know, it's still a good exercise. It's a good one to start shoulder in if they've never done it before. Learning how to come off the track. No Spanish walk or punt. Learning how to, you know, bring the shoulders off the track without falling in. But this is over. This is leg yield, not shoulder in. That is Spanish walk, which I don't want. No, Gabby. So as I said, she is a bit rusty, which is the whole point of doing these exercises today, and which is why I kind of wanted to do these things today to show, you know, hopefully we'll come back in a few months and there'll be some progression. So what I'm going to have a go at now, which is not her best trick, I suppose, is some shoulder in. So you will see you should see the difference, hopefully, in that the hind feet should stay facing forward, so facing down the track, and I'm actually using my inside leg up the girth because I'm giving her something to bend around. The inside hand comes up, the outside hand stays down. We've got Spanish walk again. Walk up. No, we've lost it. That's more leg field. But yeah, the shoulder in is a slightly different exercise. You are getting them to take more weight on the hind legs, and you are hopefully lightening the front end. So yeah, it's a very good exercise to do even if your horse can't canter yet, for example. Yeah, this is definitely her worst rein. So she's struggling, there we go, to kind of bend through the rib cage a bit more. She's struggling to actually bring the shoulders across, and she's struggling to maintain that bend. So I'm not asking them when we've gone straight and we're doing Spanish walk again. Good girl. Right, now I'm having a little trot because she's getting a bit stuffy. Go over that one pole that I didn't pick up. Good girl. We're going to stay in trot now. I'm just going to do, a little bit difficult having to cut the arena in half a little bit, but I'm going to do some kind of forward and back, which sounds really simple, and it is, I suppose. In fact, if I pick up a circle, I'll do it in the middle of the circle. So basically this is just some changes of pace. So on this side of the circle I'm going to ask for a little bit more, and then on this side we're going to go as slowly as we can. And again, you should see, hopefully in the hand cam, that I'm not hanging on to it. You're following us, and steady. So I'll lift the hands slightly, good girl, but I kind of close my thighs and slow my rise slightly, and she will respond to that. And obviously voice, which I know you can't use in a test, but you can still train with it as long as you're doing those things together. Over, get out of the way. Good girl. And then I'm just going to do one for like a fraction of a second, steady, and go. Good girl. So the aim of doing the slightly slower, well, basically the aim of doing the half halt, because in effect that's what it is. So we steady, and then we go. I'm trying to get her to push a little bit more from behind, lift and lighten the front end slightly. I would normally do this large, steady, and go. And not on a circle, purely for ease, but with the camera being a bit of a arsehole today, this is easier and steady. Good. I'm starting to feel, good girl, that's fine, and walk. That's not the wrong answer. Well, let me trot, please. We're not meant to be doing that today. So that wasn't the wrong answer because I did ask her to go forward, it just wasn't quite the right way. It was a different answer. Good girl, we're going to do one more, and steady, and go. Good girl. But I can already start to feel that the sort of slightly slower trot is getting a little bit more push, maybe a little bit more elevation, and she is softening in my hand that little bit more. Sorry, nobody likes to chase the bands. scary fans. So we're going to do the same this way, and I'm going to go steady, and then go. Good girl. And it's good for horses who are maybe a little bit behind the leg as well. You're starting, good girl, and steady, and go. You're starting to question whether they are off your leg or not, basically. You know, they need to slow, steady, and then need to go. As you can see, Gabby and Wolf, trot, trot, trot. Gabby is a little bit stuffy, which is why this is also a good exercise for her. Now you can probably see her tightness this way as well. Trot! No! It's easier to canter them. So yeah, although she feels lighter in the left hand, she's actually tighter this way. Just trot. Just going to go ever so slightly large. Good girl. But yeah, she's starting to feel a little bit lighter in my hand, and I'm not having to do quite so much in reminding her to stay soft in my hand. Let's have a change of rein. Good girl. And yeah, that's feeling loads better. So if I was doing canter work, I might do a little bit now, but much to Gabby's disgust, we are not doing canter work today. Around our little mountain block there, I'm going to do, it's in between a leg yield and a shoulder in on the circle. I believe they call it the girivolta. That's always what I've called it anyway, because that's what I have understood it to be called. Again, it just tests the kind of suppleness and flexion and whether they are listening, I suppose. It doesn't have to be this small of a circle to start with, and again, Gabby's a bit stiff, so it's not gonna look great, to be quite honest with you. She got a bit tight through her neck. Good girl. I'll do one more. You know, you can use a patch of grass, but just have somewhere in mind that, okay, we're going to go round that point. It could be a cone, it could be anything. And then I'm going to come out here, Nova out the way, and we're going to leg yield. I'm going to keep the bend that we've just got. Leg yield across, stand on the dog. Nova, move! And she's getting a little bit heavy in my hand, so I'm just lifting the hand up slightly to get her to lift herself up. Not that, no. And you know, that was a terrible leg yield, to be honest. She left her quarters out completely, and she's a bit against the hand, but that is fine. I'm going to pick up another girivolta up here. So again, it's just more suppling exercises basically. Let's do around this tuft of grass. So I collect the walk slightly, little half halt. Don't want that. I'm keeping the outside rein a little bit kind of tighter because I want to encourage her shoulders to come over, but I don't want it to overbend. There is a happy medium, so I'm using my left leg behind the girth. That's too much angle, Gabby, you can't do that. No. And if they get stuck like that, just walk straight and pick it back up. It's not the end of the world. Nova, please move. Okay, and we're going to come out of this circle and we're going to go for another leg yield again. I'm going to try and keep myself as well balanced as I can, because I don't always help her out with this. Give the inside so I'm not flexing her too much. So yeah, she's dropping again. This is a little bit better though. And try and keep her more forward so she doesn't go into Spanish walk. But I don't mind the collector stuff because it becomes more precise. It gives me more time to time my aids. And it, you know, means she gets better crossing. She's not rushing through it basically. Obviously we want more fluidity as time goes on, but good girl. We shall take that. Right, we're going to just do that exercise the way. You have a little stretch. So I've been riding for 25 minutes now, and probably, I would say I've maybe done 8 minutes of trot, if that. But we've done lots. Like, this is hard work. It's hard mental work for her. And although the majority of this has been in walk, you can see how it's helped the trot, even just in those two little bits. Good girl. And I can feel how it's helped her suppleness. This is much easier this way. Walk on. No, walk on. Walk on. No, come out and go for a leg yield. We've got a bit more space this way. So no, we're going to go back round. Walk on. Come on, move your bum. Good girl. So yeah, don't get bogged down with, I've got to do loads of work in trot, I've got to do loads of work in canter, especially if you're just starting back out, as in, you know, the horse has had a bit of a break, or you've been, you know, you're a bit rusty like us, Nova, then it's absolutely fine. Walk on, to spend a whole session in walk, despite what people may say. I'm crossing my right hand over a bit too much. That is a bad habit of mine. So I'm trying to open the outside, my left hand, but I'm actually starting to bend to the wrong way, so that's on me. Because she's not listening to my leg, she's trying to do Spanish walk again. That's better. Good girl, and trot. Good. I don't know how much of that you actually saw, because the camera looks like it's facing the wrong way. So I just gave her a little trot then as we come out of that, because she was getting really stuffy. So I'm going to go up to the next long side. We're going to carry on trotting. You wouldn't go to the gym and start lifting really heavy stuff straight away. And walk. So I don't expect her to work in a hard frame for any period of time, if at all, at the moment. But yeah, I want to feel like she's still soft and listening. This is better. Good girl. I can feel the hind legs are crossing a little bit better because we're keeping the momentum this time. We're not doing any silly walks. I'm going to shift the weight slightly to the left. Yeah, that was loads better. Still not perfect. Good girl. But that was nice. I will happily take that. Good girl. It does feel like it's going to rain. And oh, what? Big bugger you are. So I'm just going to do one final exercise with her today, which is an exercise that she loves. And admittedly, I could have done it earlier, especially when I've had that first trot and she felt a little bit sticky, maybe is the best word. But we're going to do some rein back work. Now again, this is something I don't think is taught early enough, especially from the dressage point of view. You know, I think it comes in at novice, certainly elementary, there's rein back anyway. So people that are doing intros and prelims don't bother for the most part, but it's a really good collection exercise. Good girl, I'm just going to do that as a hold to start with. Yeah, it's a really good collection exercise, and again, it can help develop loads of stuff. If you've got a horse that's really heavy on the forehand, teach them rein back. But you know, you are looking for a good quality rein back. That's the other thing. You know, you don't want a rein back that is hollow and dragging. You need one that the back is engaged and that the legs are moving in a diagonal pair. And then I really like rein back to trot, which is what we're going to do. And again, for stuffy horses, I know people sometimes think going backwards isn't good for them, and I'm not quite sure why. But it does, it really kind of loads up their hind legs. So we're going to go back and we're going to go forward. She may canter because that's what she likes to do. Good girl, well done. You got the no canter memo finally. Good girl. So hopefully you can see the camera is doing its job. Like she does come a little bit low, but she generally takes nice big even steps back that are, you know, diagonally paired as they should be. She doesn't tend to drag feet and walk, but she can be a little bit quick to go into it. So know and anticipate. So she does enjoy doing this. Don't start bouncing now. Right, legs behind the girth. Good girl. And back forward. Go, get a bit. Nova, who are you? Get out of the way. Good girl. So I'm going to stick with the rule of 3 here. I'm going to do one more. I will talk through what I am doing. Good girl. Again, she feels so much lighter in my hand. This is normally an exercise that I would do pretty much straight away, to be honest. If not, my first transition into trot for her. And whoa. Yeah, I know you're getting all excited. Right, I'm back. So I bring my legs behind the girth, ask the quarters to go back. I lift the hands slightly. I do shorten my reins a little bit, but I don't pull back. Sorry, Gabby. I will bring my upper body ever so slightly forward so that I'm taking some weight off the back, because we want her to lift her back. So if you sit heavy and lean back, then you're kind of depressing the back and pushing them down, they're more likely to kind of go backwards and hollow at you. So I keep the seat nice and light, both legs back behind the girth, little bit of a bend, no, back. Good girl. And then I bring the legs back forward to go forward. Good. Done. I think we had a bit of Spanish walking to Rein back then, that's new. Right, I'm going to do one on the long side because I'm a little bit concerned that it's not filming correctly. So we're going to do one here, in front of all the lovely jumps, and wall. So same again though, I'm going to bring both legs behind the girth, shorten the rein slightly, lift the hands a fraction, more because she buries her head slightly, upper body slightly forward, and back we go. She's a bit more crooked this way, and get out of the way. Good girl. Yeah, so I need to bend her, because she brings her quarters left this way. Good girl. So I need to bend her more left, which sounds odd, but you've got to remember they kind of bend, or they turn like a boat anchor. So if you turn the head left, the quarters go right. And obviously that's what we want because she's pushing the quarters left. And whoop. Don't lean on me now. Stand nicely. Good girl. Wait. Back. So bend a little bit more left, a little bit more left leg. Still going a bit to the left. Don't start getting stroppy. Good girl. I'm going to do one more. And then that will be us done. And hopefully it represents it on the camera, but she certainly feels like she has gotten lighter in my hand. I'm not having to remind her quite so much to soften. She's not quite as stuffy because she's actually using herself properly now. Yeah, she feels better. Hopefully it looks better. Wait. Okay. More left bend, more left bend. That's a little bit better. Forward. Good girl. Good girl. So I'm just going to give her a bit of a stretchy trot now. I hope, that at least some of that has been useful. I hope that the camera has behaved for the most part, and I don't have to cut too much out. I'm really hoping to do more of these kinds of videos because it gets me riding a bit more, gets me going through the process a bit more, so it's good for me as well as hopefully helping some of you. Hopefully it's helped a few people. There's obviously a few exercises in there, at least one of them is relevant. Obviously, like I said, Gabby is coming back into work. I will carry on doing this and you can follow that, and if you're having the same issues, the exercises that I do with her will be able to help you. Hopefully hand cam worked well. I think it's quite nice to show what I'm doing. It's good for me to see sometimes because I know sometimes, not so much on her, but on some of the slightly more leany horses, I don't want to say strong, but the ones that are a bit more on the forehand, that I can pull and hold a little bit too much. So yeah, it's good to kind of hold yourself accountable. Should I get off you? Are you getting frustrated? But yeah, I mean, oh Gabby, you just wiped all your snot on me. Lovely. What I was going to say was hopefully I'll have one of these out every week. That might be a bit optimistic. In fact, that's probably very optimistic, but maybe once a fortnight, and you can see how we are getting on. It will probably be here again next time, so we shall see you then. Good girl. Hey? Oh, ow.